I've been teaching and working since 1963.
My goodness gracious.
And my contract at Purdue ends in a year, but
Awesome.
I finished teaching a year ago, so I'm really enjoying life. It's wonderful. I have so many fond memories of my 25 years with the Indiana Computer Educators.
I know you
It
do.
was just a wonderful time in my life.
Well, and you were there since almost the beginning, right?
Right. Yeah, 1985. I was technology director in Crown Point Schools, and I noticed that so many schools were getting grants, and many of the people that were getting the grants were members of ICE.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, gee, I really need to get involved with this organization, Indiana Computer Educators. And I remember, going to the conference and talking to different people, and I can't remember exactly who I spoke to. It may have been Joanne Troutner and maybe Ruthie Blankenbaker, or Kim Allen. But I says, I really want to become a part of the group. And then I was invited to be on the actual board. I was on the board before I was on the conference committee.
Okay.
And it was just an absolute wonderful journey. The people involved with that, we were all high energy change agents, working with the unknown and working with this technology that people were really not sure about and how this is going to improve learning. But I traveling every other month to Indianapolis because was exciting because I was with all these movers and shakers, and then we were all talking about how we can, first of all, convince the school board to spend this money on computers, because a Macintosh computer at that time cost like $5,000. And because I think I told you that I started teaching in the first Mac lab in the state of Indiana in Crown Point schools. And I needed to be with other educators that had the same challenges and the same goals and the same passion that I had. Because here in Northwest Indiana, Ray Meixel, John Giannotti, Ray Meixel was in Maryville and John Giannotti was in Lake Central, and we were the only technology coordinators. And I needed to be with other people to get other ideas because I did start writing grants for Crown Point schools, and I was always higher than a kite coming back from these ICE board meetings because there was just so much energy in that room. That how can we convince teachers to change, because we know how painful change is. And first of all, we were the experts. We knew the MEC programs, and we knew the basic word processing programs. And then gradually all this started to change when internet came into and we didn't have Wi-Fi. We had telephone lines. I mean, I would have 4 teachers sharing one telephone line. But because I was involved with ICE, I had this group that I could ask questions. And we would start emailing, but we're still using the phone a lot. But at those meetings, we learned so much from each other. And we had this desire to change, and then before you know it, I was also on the conference committee. So now I was there on Friday, and we'd stay overnight Friday, and we're constantly talking. Oh, what kind of computer do you have? What kind of programs are you using? What kind of grants, and what are you doing? How are you getting the parents involved? How are you getting the teachers involved? 30 years ago, we thought within 10 years that we could provide a computer for every student and that wonderful things were going to happen in 10 years. Well, you still, in 30 years, are the haves and the have-nots. And you still have all the same problems that you had before. There was never enough money, and there was never enough time to train teachers. But because we had the ICE conference, we had close to 2,000 people that would come to the ICE conference. I would pull, I think it was like 35 teachers out of school for 2 days. And we would be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. But because we were young and full of energy, and with that we can do spirit, that we are going to make a change. And not only were we together at these meetings at Park Tudor School and at the ICE conference every year, we went to the National Education Computer Conference, which is now called ISTE. And we were there together, and we had matching shirts. And we were there in group. And we partied. We had a lot of fun. We went together to these meetings. We shared. And it was just a big technology loving. And because we were so close, and because we all had the same mission, how can computers be used to improve learning for our students in Indiana? And how are we going to get enough money? How are we going to provide enough time for training? And how are we going to convince these teachers that they really did want to let go of the typewriter? They wanted to let go of the chalkboard and use these computers. And we're still close friends. And even though many of us have retired, I started teaching in 1963, and I was in a classroom for over 50 years and computer coordinator. But because I was a member of ICE, and because I was with all these intelligent, passionate, high energy people that were constantly trying to keep up with this change. It was like a fast moving train, and no one was selfish. We all wanted to share. If we heard of a better way to do something, we shared it. And we shared our ideas. And we all worked together to develop workshops. And we never asked to get paid. It was all volunteer. We never thought about, oh my gosh, all this gas, all this. No, because it was so much fun. And I can remember being at a conference, and the different vendors that were there showing us stuff in the bar. That here, look at this software, look at this. And we would all gather around, and then word would get out. We'd be at a conference and say, what kind of workshop did you go to? And we would share. Oh, it was a most wonderful time. I will never, ever forget those 25 years that I had the opportunity to be a part of ICE.